Now we'll discuss about the interface of Power BI in detail. As I mentioned, the interface of Power BI at the previous video, where we have the Home tab. In the Home tab, we have different ribbons where we have clipboard, data, queries, insert, calculation and share. So now I will talk about in detail what is data ribbon talks about. Data ribbon talks about the collection of data from various sources where the data can be extracted from different files such as CSV, Excel or databases or else online web service, structured, unstructured and semi-structured format. Next we have query ribbons, where this query ribbons will redirect to the Power Query editor. This is used to modify your particular data. For example, consider you have a data with some of the missing information. You can use this query editor and you can redirect to the Power Query editor and you can treat those missing values. Or if you want to replace the values, you can also do it. Or if you want to extract some information, you can do it. Or if you want to remove some of the records, you can do it by using the Query tab. Next we have Insert tab or Insert ribbon, which will help you to add a new visuals, or else it will help you to also allow to access for more visuals. Let me go back to the Power BI desktop and explain you in detail of this data tab or data ribbon. Let me remove this particular chart. I will click on this get data. You can see here the common data source that is available. If you want to access any other files which is not present over here, you can just click on this more option. It will ask you to connect with different various sources, whereas file server, that is nothing but local file server, databases, Microsoft Fabric, Azure online service, etc. If you want to load the data in terms of folder, you can go and select the path of the folder. Consider I have the folder of sales report. I want to load all the information that is present in the sales folder. Let me copy this particular path. I will go back to this sheet. I will select the folder option. Let me click on connect option. Once it is connected, it will ask you for the path of the folder. You can just browse it and select the folder, or else you can paste the particular path. I have just copied the path, I have pasted over here. Let me click on OK. So it will redirect to the preview of the particular path. It is telling that I have two different files in the particular folder. You can see here I have two files, one is sales of 2016 and sales of 2017. So it is explaining that we have two different files in the particular folder. You want to load both the files or else one files. If you can see here on the bottom, there is an option called combine and load. What is combine and load? Combine and load is nothing but if you want to perform an union operation, whereas 2016 sales below 2016 you want 2017 sales. At that particular case, you can select the combine and load. It acts as an union operator. There is an option called combine and load and combine and transform. If you use combine and load, it will redirect to the Power BI desktop. If you use Power BI combine and transform data, it will redirect to Power Query editor. So I have just clicked on Power BI combine and load. Now it is asking me, this is your combined file, where the first file and second file, where the first file is your 2016 and the second file is your 2017, where the origin of the file is present here. Along with that, you can see based on what it has been separated, what is the delimiter or what is the separator. The files has been separated based on the comma delimited values. Along with that, you can see there is a data type that has been assigned for each and every features. It is asking you Should I want to detect the data type based on the first 200 rows? You can just click on this. It will ask you if you want to give the or assign the data type based on the entire row that is present in the data set, or do not detect any data type, or do not assign any data type. You can select anything that you want, but by default it is selected the data type based on the first 20 or first 200 rows. So let me click on OK. So you can see that there is a loading option. Once it is loaded, you can see the new folder is created, that is sales of 2016 and 17. So both the information is combined and it has loaded. So this is how you can make use of data ribbon. Or else if you want to create your own file or own table, you can just click on this enter data. So that will create a new table by typing or pasting the new content. Let me click on new data or enter data. There is an option called column 1. What should be the name of the column? I will go and double tap to the column 1. It will allow me to rename the column name. Let me provide the column name as employee details or employee name. Let me click on enter. Once you click on enter, it will go to the below cell. Let me provide the name of the employee. For example, let me provide the name like Karthik. Enter. It will move to the next particular cell. Let me provide the name Raghavendra. Enter. Jeevan, Raj, Kiran, Ravindra. These are the employees who is working in the organization. If I also want to include some of the females details, let me write down Kanaka, Navya, Kavya. So now if I want to add the another column, just there is an option called insert column. You can just click on this insert column and you can change the name of the column. Just right click and then you can just rename, or else double tap this and rename the column name as gender. Enter. Now it is asking you the information of gender details. So let me provide as male, yum, male, yum, f, female, female. So I have provided some details. So now if you want to load it to this Power BI, you can just click on this option called load, but you can see the row number 9 is empty. Let me right click and let me delete this particular row. If you want to delete the particular column, you can just right click and click on delete option. So you can delete the row and as well as deleting the column. It is asking you what should be the table name. The table name, let me provide it as employee details. Let me click on load. Now you can see the employee details has been successfully loaded to the Power BI. So if you want to view your particular file, you can just click on this table view and go to this employee details. You can see the data has been successfully loaded. Now we will be discussing the interface of View tab. The View tab consists of themes as a ribbon. So this theme ribbon will display the themes in a gallery by making more easily to see your colorful charts or the colorful backend or the background of your dashboard. You can use custom themes and you can modify it as you wish. There is an option called filter. If you want to filter your records or the pages, you can just select the filter your page or filter your chart and you can perform the filter. So now we will discuss about the interface of modeling tab. This modeling tab has different ribbon. Again, we have collections. This calculations will help you to make the relationship between the different source. You can just go to the relationship ribbon. There is an option called manage relationship. You can click on this manage relationship. This will open the model view and it will ask you the relationship between the tables to create. Let me go back to the Power BI. Let me go to this report view. In the report view, you can find tab called model. Let me click on the modeling tab. The first ribbon called relationship. There is an option called manage relationship. So it is asking me what kind of relationship that you want to form. If you click on this plus icon, it will ask for the different tables from table to table. So you can select from table as employee details and two tables as Amazon sales. So it is asking you what type of cardinality that I want to form. So there is no common column for now, so I am not creating any relationship. If you want, I will explain you in detail by loading any other files. For now, let me load the Excel file. I will go to this dimension table. In the dimension table, you can find the subcategory. Let me click on open. So let me select this particular file. I will click on load. So it has been loaded successfully. I will also load the category information. I will click on open. I will select this particular path file and let me load it. So now we have category and subcategory. I will go for modeling. I will go for manage relationship, new relationship, that is nothing but category and subcategory. So it is telling category and subcategory should have a relationship. So which is the common column to make a relationship? So whenever you start making a relationship between the table, you want to keep one thing in mind. There should be a common column that is present in both the table. So the table which has primary key, we call that table as a parent table. So what is primary key here? Primary key is nothing but it is used to uniquely identify the record in the table. Whereas foreign key, what is foreign key? A foreign key is used to make the relationship between the table. For example, there should be only one primary key in a table and they can have multiple foreign key in a table. In primary key is the combination of unique plus not null. If you consider a table and if you are assigning that table as a primary key, you should make sure that table or that column should be uniquely identifier. For an example, in the employees table, consider there is an employee ID, whereas employee ID is an primary key. So that is the combination of unique and not null. Whereas foreign key, I can have multiple foreign key in a table, whereas foreign key is used to make the relationship between the table. So now the primary key is nothing but your category in the category table and your foreign key is category key in subcategory table. Now we are talking about the cardinality. What is cardinality? Cardinality helps you to understand what kind of relationship that you want to form. Whether you want to make one to many, many to many, or many to one, or one to one relationship. On the right side, there is an option called, do you want to perform a cross filter directions of single or both? Here, select the single directions. Click on save. So it is already created, just click on this. So this is completely fine. Let me close it. I'll go to this model view. You can see over here in the model view, there is a relationship between the subcategory and category is already formed. And what type of relationship it has formed? One to many relationship. If you want to see in detail, just select this particular connection. It will redirect to the properties. There is a relationship. What two tables that has connected? the category and subcategory table that has been connected, and what kind of relationship it has formed. It has formed the cardinality of many to one relationship, and table name is subcategory with category table, column name is category key and category key. So this is how we can make use of manage relationship. Now we have calculation ribbon. Now I will explain you what is calculation ribbon. This calculation ribbon will allow you to create a DAX expression. So what is DAX? DAX is nothing but a data analysis expression. If you want to do some calculations, you can use by using this calculation ribbon. For example, let me go back to the Power BI. I will go to this table view. There is an option called calculations, right? So if you want to create your own calculations, let me do it for you. I will go to the sales table. In this sales table, you can see there is an option called date. In this date, I want to extract year out of it. If you want to do, I will just create a new column. So that will create a new column to me. So it is asking me the column name. Just you can zoom this by using Control and move your arrow on the upside or scroll your arrow. So that will increase the size. So now you can give the column name as year. So you can write a simple DAX function. Now I am going to write a simple DAX function called year. Year is a function that is already defined. So you can see the description of the particular function. Year takes only one argument, that is date. It returns the year of date as 4-digit. Let me provide the date information. That is nothing but in the sales table, sales of 2016, I want to extract the column name called date. So close this and click on enter. Now you can see there is a new column that has created called year. So what type of year that we are going to deal with? We are dealing with 2 years, one is 2016 sales and 2017 sales. This is the use of calculations ribbon. If you want to create a measure, you can also create a measure. Measures are nothing but an aggregated information. So I will go back to this particular report tab. I will right click on this and there is an option called new measures. You can select and create a new measure over here, or else you can select this particular sales folder. There is an option called calculations and new measure. You can select here as well. So new measure is created, new calculated measures is created over here. It is asking you what should be the name of your measure. Let me provide the name of the measure as total sales equals, I will be providing the total sales is nothing but the sum of sales information. So sum is an aggregate function. So let me provide sales. So 2016 and 2017 of sales. There is no particular sales as the field. Here we have an units. So I will provide total units. Let me rename this column name as total units. Let me click on enter. So the new measure is created, that is called total units. So if you want to view it, just create a card and just click on this total units. So the total unit that has been sold is 2 million. So this is the help of using the calculations. You can also create a table. So let me go back to the table view. If you want to create a table, I will go to this calculations. In the calculations, there is an option called new table. You can click on this new table. So it will ask you what should be the calculated table name. So the name of the calculated table, let me provide it as date master. So date master, I will do the time intelligence functions over here. For an example, I want to add all the information that is present in the sales date column. So how do I extract it? I can just write it as a calculation or else calendar auto. Calendar auto will provide you all the information from the starting date and to the ending date. So I will write it as calendar auto. So this will automatically select the sales date table and provide the starting date and ending date of each and every information. So you can see here the new calculated table is created. So how you can differentiate the calculated table and as well as the calculated column and calculated measure. So the calculated table is nothing but it will create a folder, along with that there is a calculator symbol. Below that you can see this is your calculated column as here, and this is your calculated measure. It will be just the calculator symbol. So we can differentiate the calculated table, measure and as well as calculated column in this way. Thank you. Now we will be discussing about report view. In Power BI desktop, report view is used to build a visualization and reports. Whereas in the report view, we have different panes. The first thing is we have the ribbon on the top, which displays the common task associated with reports and visualization. Second, we can see the canvas area. In this middle of canvas area, where you can create the visualization, charts and graphs, or you can create a dashboards. On the bottom, you can see the page tab, where you can create multiple page or you can create multiple reports. Next, you can find a filter pane where you can filter out the visualization. On the fifth part, we have the visualization pane where you can add charts and as well as you can create a customized visuals, or you can apply the drill down over there where you can format your visuals or you can format your page or the canvas. At the last, we have the field pane. In this field pane, where you can see all the folders that you have loaded along with the columns. You can try expanding or collapsing this filter visualization and as well as field pane by clicking the arrow on top. So that helps to create your charts or the dashboard more space while creating the visualization. Welcome everyone. Now we will try dealing with data view. So what is this data view? Data view will help you to inspect, explore and understand the data in your data Power BI desktop model. It is a different tables or the columns or else a Power Query editor. It's different from the table, columns and data in Power Query editor. With data view, user can look into the data after it been loaded into the model. In the data view, where you can see in the first icon, you can select to the data view. Next, you can redirect to the data grid. So this data grid will help me to understand about each column, what are the data types that are assigned. And then on the top, you can find the model ribbon, where you can see what are the various types of calculations that you can create. You can create a new calculations. Below that, you can find the formula bar where you can write different DAX functionalities to create a calculated column or calculated table or calculated measures. On the right side, you can see the search option where you can search for the tables or the columns. Below that, you can find field list, where in the field list, we can find the selected tables or the columns that is present in the data grid. Now we'll talk about model view. Model view shows all the tables, columns and the relationship between the table. This view can be easily helpful when the model has been complex relationship between the table. Select the model icon near the side window to see view or existing view that has already created. Let me redirect to the Power BI. You can find here there is a model view. You can just click on this model view. You can see in the model view it displays all the different folder that has been loaded or all the different tables that has been loaded. So if you just click on this particular line, it will redirect to the properties or the relationship that has been formed between the table. So you can modify or you can change it based on the requirements. So this is the help of model view. Hello everyone. Now we can discuss about the Power BI different connections. Let me explain you how to connect your data with different sources. For an example, let me start with how to connect the data from Excel file. You can just go to the Home tab, go to the data ribbon, select the Excel file and just select which are the files that you want to open it. Just untick it or just tick those files which you want to load it. And below that you can find the option called load, transform data and cancel. If you click on load button, it will directly load to the Power BI desktop. If you click it on transform data, it will redirect to the Power Query editor. If you click on cancel, it will not load any of the files. We can also connect the data through CSV files. Just you can go to the same data ribbon, click on the get data, you can find the Excel file or CSV file. In this CSV file, it asks you the delimiter. So select the delimiter as comma or any required separator. Once you select the separator, there is an option called data type selection. So by default, Power BI selects the data types based on the first 200 rows. If you want to select the data type based on the entire data set, you can just click on the drop down and then you can click on this particular option called based on entire data set. Or there is an other option called do not detect the data type. So Power BI will not assign any data type for the particular folder. You want to do it manually. So you can also connect the data with particular database. For an example, if you want to connect the data through MySQL database, you can do it freely. You can just click on the get data. You can click on option called more. Once you click on more, it will redirect to the get data tab. There is an option of connecting with different source files. You can just click on the database or else you can use the search bar where you can search for MySQL database. Once you select the MySQL database, it will ask you two options. One is for server and the other one is for database. You should select the server. By default, the server name will be localhost. But if you are working in any of the company, the server name may differs and you want to provide the database name. Once you provide it, there is an option called database where you want to give the username, password and as well as the level of applying the settings that is provided. Once this is done, the data is already extracted from the MySQL database to Power BI workbook. Let me explain you this practical one by one, how to load the data from Excel, CSV and as well as MySQL server. Let me go back to this Power BI desktop. Let me click on this get data. Click on this more option. You can just search for the Excel file and it is populated here. Just click on this Excel workbook, click on connect. So you can connect any of the file that you want to load for. I will load it geography table. I will click on open. So now the geography table is showing the preview. So we have two different tables that is present. The first table is uncleaned table and the second table is cleaned by Power BI. Just select this particular file and then click on load. So that will load to the Power BI desktop. So this way you can load it by using the Excel. Now if you want to load the file by using CSV, click on this get data. There is an option called text or CSV. Click on this text or CSV. It is asking you to select the particular file. So the file is present here called product, which is in the CSV file. Select it, click on open. So it is asking me what is the delimiter. The common delimiter is comma. If you want to change the separator, you can select it as you wish. If you want to select it based on the custom, you can change the custom and select your own delimiter. Again, as I told you, if you want to change the data type, you can select this. You can just click on do not detect the data type. So Power BI will not detect the data type by default. By default, Power BI will detect the data type based on the first 200 records. If you want to select the data type based on the entire data set, you can just click on this particular option. So once it is done, just click on load. So the product table is successfully loaded to the data pane. Next, if you want to load the data from MySQL server, you can just click on this particular get data. There is an option called more. Click on this more. It is asking you what file you want to load it. So just let me search for MySQL. So you can see MySQL database is present here. Just let me click on this and let me connect. It is asking me two options. One is your server and the other one is database. So I want to provide the server and as well as the database. So server by default is localhost. How you can find it? So let me go to this MySQL. So open this local instances. So once you open with these local instances, you can find there is a session option. Click on this session. There is an option called host. So by default the host is localhost. Copy this and go back to the Power BI. As I told you, go to Home tab, get data, more option, search for MySQL database, select this, provide the server, that is localhost, and provide the database name. Consider I want to load any of the database from this particular sheet, I can do it. So these are the database, multiple database that is available in my schemas. If you want to see what are the different databases that are available, you can just write it as show databases. So these are the different databases that are available. So if you want to load any of the databases, you can load it. For example, if I want to load a Flipkart database, I can just write as Flipkart. I will click on OK. So there is no table that is present in the Flipkart database. So let me load the organization database. Let me showcase how the organization database looks like. So use organization org. So show tables. So here these are the tables that are available in the organization database. So let me cancel it and let me do the same process once again. Search for MySQL. In this, select MySQL database. Provide the server as localhost and provide the database as org, organization database. Click on OK. So you can see here these are the tables that is available in the organization database that is populated here. If you want to preview your table, just you can preview it like this. So if you want to load it, just you can click on this checkbox, that is organization title, organization worker and organization bonus. So I am loading this three table. I will just click on load button. So you can see on the right hand side, the three tables should be loaded. Can you see organization worker table and title is successfully loaded. If you want to make a relationship, you can go to the model view and you can start making a relationship between the table. Make sure that if there is a difference in the column name, you cannot make a relationship. You want to manually change the name of the column. You have organization worker, organization title and as well as organization bonus. So now worker table and Title table, if I want to make a relationship, the common column is worker title, but here the worker title is not present, so there is no relationship that has formed. But organization bonus and as well as organization title has made the relationship based on the worker reference ID as the common column. I hope you understood how to load the data from different source files.